Hello book lovers and welcome to my pocket of joy. Hi, my name is Maren. Don't worry if you cannot pronounce it. I don't think you are required to in the comments. I'm doing this first video of BookTube / AuthorTube because I read a lot. And I write as well. So I thought I would do a sort of mix of the BookTube and AuthorTube newbie tag questions. And yeah, so that's what I'll do to introduce myself. I've got my tea and the questions, so let's start. First question that I have is, why did you start this channel? Basically just fun, because I've been watching other booktubers and they seem to enjoy themselves so much, so I thought, why not? And I guess to talk about a little about the experiences that I have when I read, you know, all the emotions, and my struggles and daily troubles of writing a novel, I guess. Question 2. When did you start reading? I started reading, I guess, as soon as I learned how to do it. Before that, I would browse, you know, like those coloring, you know, those picture books, and I would imagine the whole story just with the images, which I think kind of is a clue as to me writing now. What book or series got you into reading? I started reading with children magazines, you know, the ones you receive monthly and they have several little stories, comic books, you know, fun facts and stuff like that. Then I read all the comic books that my dad owned, so it was like Tintin, Asterix and Obelix and stuff like that. And after, I don't know, when I was about 7, 8, my mom gave me the famous 5, and I loved them, I devoured them, I read all of them, I think. But I do remember when I got Harry Potter. I think that was like a turning point, because at that moment I started to read more fantasy. Why do you love reading? Question 4. It's just great. Maybe because my life is boring? No, it's not. Well, it is boring if you compare it to flying on the back of a dragon, which I do not do on a daily basis. No, I think it's just there are so many worlds that you can have in a book, and I get to be in them and ignore completely my own life for the time that this book lasts, maybe a little after that as well, because I mean 80% of my personality is the book I've just read. I guess that's it, because the possibilities are endless. Question 5. Where do you read? Anywhere. Wherever I have a chance to open a book and read, I'll do it. Yeah, I've learned to ignore what happens around me, and music as well. It can be really loud talking and I could still read without a problem. I think now less, but as a kid much more. I mean, my mom used to call me and I would never hear her. She would need to, you know, tap me on the shoulder for me to realize that, ooh, there's something happening. So yeah, kind of anywhere. What kind of books do you like to read? That's question 6. Fantasy mostly. Everything magic is my jam, I think. Of course, there are some that I enjoy more than others, but I think if it's fantasy, I'll just go for it. I also love crime fiction. You know, I read all the Sherlock Holmes, the Agatha Christie's. I read modern stuff as well. But I love crime and mystery. I think it comes a bit from the Famous Five, because there was always like some kind of mystery that they needed to solve and stuff. Yeah, so crime novels, fantasy, and I guess I'm more and more open to more adult reading, I guess, and genres. I guess it took me turning 30 to do some adulting. Or not. What genres do you write in? So no surprise there, I write fantasy. I've always written fantasy, even when I started a story which wasn't supposed to have any magical thing in it. It just came in. I couldn't leave it out. So yeah, basically fantasy. My first published novel is also a fantasy. I'm starting a new story that's supposedly so not fantasy. Just trying to keep it simple, and let's see how that goes. Question 8: are you a plotter, a pantser, or a planter? So for those of you who don't know, a plotter is a writer that does the whole outline of the book from the start to finish, with like character cards, every chapter outline with when does it start, when does it end, how many characters are in it, and stuff like that. So very, you know, mathematical, really. Then you have the pantser, who just goes with the flow. You know, just gets an idea and just writes it down and kind of follows the character into the story. He doesn't create the story for the character, kind of. He just feels how the character's moving within the plot. And then there is planter, which is basically a mix of the two. And which one am I? I would say I have a tendency to be a pantser, so freestyle. Because, you know, anything can give me an idea, a song, an image, a conversation, anything, and I just pour it down on pages. And the thing is, sometimes I do get stuck, and I try to outline the 2-3 next chapters that I want to write, so that I can, you know, kind of, you know, push myself into writing something. And when it's done, then I'll just go back to being a pantser, really. So yeah, I'm a bit of both, but I think more of a pantser, much more. Question 9: are you a self-published, published, or yet to be published? I'm self-published. My first novel was published last year, about this time. Yeah. No, actually, like, the paperback came out like 1 year ago, today. This is actually why I'm starting this YouTube. Oh my god. Yeah, so self-published. I would love to be published traditionally, I guess. Maybe with this non-fantasy novel I'm trying to write. Maybe it does something. When did you start writing? I guess as soon as I started reading as well. I mean, before I could write, I would draw like different scenes and bind them with tape to make like a book, and ask one of my parents just to write the text but underneath. So I guess I was creating stories before I could write them, and as soon as I could, I just scribbled along. I mean, all my school notebooks are like 70% school, 30% stories. When I started writing with the intent of writing a novel, like specifically, I was like 12 years old. Yeah. Question 11. What was the first story you ever wrote? I can't say I remember. I mean, there were so many little stories and I've written along over the years. But the first story that I finished and was happy with and ended up publishing, self-publishing, is Constellation. Got it right here actually, so this is it. I don't want to talk about it right now, I think it will just take a while. So I'll just make another video to talk about it. Question 12. Do you type on a computer, on a typewriter, or do you write everything out by hand? I think it's kind of a blend. I mean, when I started writing, it was definitely per hand on notebooks. I mean, 90s kids, we didn't have like computers or laptops or stuff like that. And if we did, there were like some restrictions. But once I had a laptop, I started writing in there as well. So it wasn't just exclusively because I still had my notebooks, but I started writing there as well. The funny thing is that with my first self-published novel, I wrote the first draft entirely with a typewriter, and it took me 3 months, and I loved the experience. So I guess I'll try that again. I'm still not sure exactly how what the best technique is for me, so I'm still figuring that out, and that's probably going to be at some point the theme for one of my videos. Question 13. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be hardest to overcome? Talking to a camera, I think that's like the biggest one. I'm sure you've noticed my eyes are going like, I don't know, where should I look? There, there, there. I mean, I know I should look at the camera, but I'm attracted to the moving image of me. So I actually glued a post-it on the image, but it's not helping. It still moves behind, so I'm still kind of looking there. So that's, I think, something I need to do a little progress on. And as to the rest, I think it's the whole video editing and stuff. I've never done that, so I think that will be a challenge. Let's see how this one turns out. Yeah, that's basically it, I think, in terms of challenges, yeah. But this was like question 13, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm not superstitious, but maybe some of you are, so guess I'll just throw in a 14th question, which is, for example, what excites me most about this channel? And I think I'm just really looking forward to sharing the books I've read, sharing how much I've loved them, hated them, cried with them, the characters and so on, and share my daily writer struggles, I guess. The whole point of this, it's connecting with people that are like-minded and love, you know, that there is literature in the world, because I think without it we would be a bit lost. Have you noticed my cup? It says, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good." So maybe that should be the motto of my videos. Comment on that if you like. I hope you liked my video. If you did, give it a little thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button if you want to follow my disastrous progress on YouTube. Take care, don't forget to be kind, and see you in my next video. Toodaloo!